Welcome to the Drone Vibes Podcast, taking your passion for multi-rotors and drones to the next level. We're all about the drones, tips and tricks, new products, reviews, interviews with the pros, and much, much more. Whether you're interested in drones for business, racing, or just having fun, this show is for you. So sit tight and hang on. We're about to take off.
So what is this?
I've
seen it before, but it's got more stuff on it.
This is a drone without props.
Props. This is some mad props.
Yeah, that would be too dangerous. So what is this? Is the DJI Matrice M100. And you remember I had it here, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a frame. I was just done building it, and
it wasn't as interesting as it is now, because now it's got this really nice camera.
Now it has a beautiful X5 camera. Yeah, I finally got my mounting kit for the X5 camera for the Matrice, and was able to test the copter with this particular camera and do a little testing on the X5, because I haven't really interacted with the X5 yet. I've been leaving the 4/3 or micro 4/3 work to the GH4. So I was in the GH4 camp, reluctant to get my hands on one of these. Yep. And now I had an opportunity to test it, so we'll see how it...
what does this camera run, price-wise?
Price-wise, I believe it's $2,300 with the lens, with a 15mm lens.
Okay, and there's two versions of this, right? There is the
X5 and there is the X5R. The X5R... I'm not 100% sure what the price is right about now, but it's somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000.
And that's the one that shoots 4K RAW, correct?
That's the one that, they both shoot 4K, but the R is able to write the 4K in RAW.
Gotcha.
So uncompressed 4K. So the difference, besides of the price, it's really it's in the compression that's being applied to the footage. You know, so the X5 will take a regular SD card. And we'll probably write at 60 megabits per second at write 4K, which is a little bit beneath the GH4. And the X5R will write at like 1.5, 1.6 gigabits per second, which is much better. The GH4 is, I believe, at about 100 megabits per second, but I'm not 100% sure on that, if I remember that correctly. So.
It's not much to it compared to the GH4, huh?
Not really, no. So
really small.
What DJI did nicely about this particular camera is they allow you to get just what you need up in the air. If you think about it, if you take like a regular SLR camera, like a GH4 micro 4/3 format, you still need, you have a lot of things on the camera that you don't necessarily need up in the air. You know, the big magnesium body, the screen, the flash, every possible button that you need. So what DJI did with this one, they took the sensor, they took whatever you need to write the data on a card, and made it a part of a gimbal. I mean, this is aside of maybe
the gimbal's integrated right into it.
Yeah. Aside of making some material changes, I can't really imagine much of a more efficient way of having a 4/3 sensor, micro 4/3 sensor.
Is it an actual DJI camera, or is it like a Sony camera that DJI?
Well, the sensor. I believe DJI is part of the micro 4/3 alliance. I'm not really sure who manufactures the sensor. I'm pretty sure DJI does not.
Right.
It's usually Sony is one of the manufacturers of these sensors. There are a few, so haven't really studied it that deeply. So I'm pretty sure what DJI's technology is the gimbal, and the method of operation or the control.
So this you can interchange the lenses on this. Now, when you interchange lenses, doesn't that affect the balance of it for the gimbal?
Yeah. So the X5, as you said, there are about 10 different lenses that will work on it.
Okay.
If you buy it with the DJI lens that comes with it, it comes with a 15mm lens, which is it's already fairly long, especially for for something like this, for a machine that you can only use as a single operator. It's very difficult to keep panning. But what the 15mm lens gives you, it gives you this nice parallax effect on a long shot. So what the effect is, it's that quickly running foreground in your picture. So let's say you're shooting a golf course and you're shooting it from behind a line of trees. So that tree line in the shot, and you're going side to side, or you're going sideways.
Right,
So that tree line will actually run much faster on that camera visually than it would on a wider lens, like a 12mm or something. So it gives it that really nice effect. So what I've tried shooting was was following a car, being over a field and following a car, being over like a grassy field with the tall grass and following the car. So the grass was actually running so, really nice and fast, with the car being pretty much, not moving throughout the frame at all. So that was actually really cool.
The 15 mil comes with it?
The 15 mil comes, well, you can buy it without a lens for $1,800.
Yep.
Or you can buy it with a 15 mil for $2,300, which I like the 50 mil. I enjoy it. It's f1.7, so it opens up really nicely, actually. Not that you would need that kind of aperture for aerials anyway. The 5.6 and higher is where I found it to work pretty well.
But you could take this off and use it handheld. Can you use it with the...
Not the X. You can use it on the Osmo, yeah.
You can use the
Osmo. Yeah. So with an adapter. So you need an adapter to put the X5 on the Osmo, but it will work on the Osmo also.
So then the f1.7 is actually becomes pretty handy, because now you're...
Well, yes. In that configuration, Yep. If you're shooting something closer, but not for the aerial.
Gotcha.
What it also comes with is this little cover, a lens balancing ring, which is so your question about how does it balance interchanging the lens. So they have these balancing rings. There is a few different kinds depending on a lens that you put on. There is also a lens hood that works on some lenses. It does work on that 15 mil. For the 12 mil, I actually have to take it off.
Okay.
And there's also this dust cover that they give you, which is this, and you pretty much just slide it over the lens. It fits the 15 mil the best, and it's a rubber cover that goes over the aperture and the focus rings.
So this is a 12 mil on here.
This is my 12 mil, yeah.
So with the 12 mil, you don't have enough weight, so you have to add the ring.
Well, you have to have a ring either way, but you can't put the hood on it. You shouldn't put a hood on it to keep it balanced, to get it close to the balance. In order to, well, as I said, the lenses are exchangeable. I'm sorry, lost track there. There is compared to a regular SLR camera, there is your regular button, but there is also this lock around the collar where the lens attaches. So the procedure would be actually to push the button while you're unlocking this, and then you can twist the lens and remove just like you would on your regular SLR camera. So I've tested it with these two lenses, the 15 mil and the 12 mil. The 12 mil, this is your Olympus Suico 12 mil f2.0, f2.5.
So that's your standard. That's your standard go-to lens for the GH4.
For the GH4, for aerials, for the wide lens, absolutely. I mean, I love the Olympus lenses. I think the glass is really good. The quality is there. They're not the cheapest one. This one still runs you $600-700.
Okay.
Which for a prime is, for something of this size. But it's worth the money, actually. So this is the lens that I would use for the wider aerial shots. Something that's not as tight as I would need a 15 mil for.
Now, so this camera has the adjustments are all done through the app, just like the X3.
So it all works through the DJI Go app. Actually, there are a few adjustments that you have available for this one that you don't, obviously, because you can change the lenses on this one. You can also control the aperture through the app. So that's an addition. On the X3 camera, on a Phantom or your Inspire 1, you can control the shutter speed, you can control the ISO, but the aperture is fixed at 2.8. With this one, you have a variable
just
aperture
like
depending on
SLR.
whatever the lens, whatever the lens allows you. So the way it's done, it's through your regular toggle on your controller. So the same toggle that the listeners or we may be used to control the shutter speed and the ISO on some of the lower machines. You can switch to controlling the aperture also. Cool. Now it has a few different modes. So it will have the fully automatic mode where the camera pretty much makes the decisions for you. It will have an aperture priority mode, or A, where it lets you choose the aperture, but it keeps the aperture fixed and then adjusts the shutter speed and the ISO to get the proper exposure, for optimal exposure. The next mode would be a shutter speed priority, or the S mode, where it prioritizes, it lets you choose the shutter speed, but then it keeps it constant and it changes the aperture and the ISO to get to the right exposure. And the fourth mode would be a fully manual mode, where you're in control of the ISO, shutter speed, and the aperture. also.
You're still manually focusing before you take off. There's no way to.
No, you control the focus
the focus
from your
controlled.
app. Yep,
Okay.
there is a
unlike the
focus
GH4.
assistant tool. Well, on a GH4 you want to focus it to infinity. Yeah,
Right.
before you take off. There's not much. Yeah, no control there. Beyond what you set on the ground. With this one, you can actually focus it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can set it up to infinity, with just like most of the situations or flying situations would be set to infinity.
I was going to say, can you think of any reason why you'd want to change focus?
Well,
while you're
it does. You do well. The depth of field you can limit it if you just want to purposely focus on something and have the background blurred out. You
Yep.
can actually do that, and it's cool. It does have the app has a peaking available, and the production screens
the
have
Chinese
focus
food?
peaking. No,
okay.
Chinese capital. You mean?
Well, there's food too, like Peking duck.
And so what it does for you, it will actually show you, it will create these lines, these red, lines around things, or not really lines, it will
Whatever's
highlight the
focused.
things that are in focus,
Okay.
so especially if you have some nicer production screen where you can see clearly what things are in focus, you can use that to create some pretty amazing detail.
Because I was going to say, to adjust the focus using your iPhone or an iPad is going to be very difficult, I would think, in the air.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see anything on those screens outside, especially in a daylight or in a sunlight. So you really have to be careful.
So this is a single operator, though. There is no secondary control option.
You can, but you wouldn't do it on the M100 because your gear legs are in
That's
the
right,
picture.
you
There's
can't
no way
get
to
out of the
lift
way,
it. So
yeah.
if you wanted a 2-operator machine, you would be better off going with the Inspire Pro.
Yep. Which has the X5.
Which is the same camera,
Same camera.
either the X5 or the X5R, and it does give you the 2-operator capability. You can hook up the second one to this, I believe. I yet have to try that, so don't quote me on
Okay.
it. But I don't really see much of a reason for it.
Yeah, that's
What
true.
this is
I keep
for?
forgetting these are fixed.
What this is for? It's as I said in the previous Matrice 100 episode. It's really a developer platform.
Yep.
It's good for a single operator photography only. It's good for a single operator video. To me, this is like I'm not going to compare this to a Phantom because it's no Phantom at $6,000+.
Yeah, right.
But if there was like a professional version of a Phantom, this would be it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you get the camera, you get all the trimmings that you need, and in a pretty small package still, in a really nice package.
So how? Yeah, because it's about the same size as the Inspire, maybe a
Yeah.
little smaller.
Yeah.
How? Now, when you're flying this, are you seeing the legs much? Are you noticing
No,
that you do?
not at all.
You don't.
Not at all. Especially not with a 12 mil, not with a 15 mil. Because the camera it's in a follow and it's pointed forward,
It's
so
always
it misses
pointed
the
forward.
legs.
Is there a lag when you're panning? Does it have the lag? To smooth out your pan.
The
movements?
synchronizio, yeah, it does. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can
And-
also through the app you can control the sensitivity or the speed of the yaw. You can add a smooth track so it comes to a smoother, and so it gives you quite a bit of flexibility.
So even with the smooth pan and stuff, you're still not seeing the front legs.
no.
So that's
No,
good.
no,
Okay.
No.
So
Not-
it's
not-
like a
not even
hopped
with
up
the 12
Phantom
mil.
on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's excellent. And you know what? It gets 15 minute flight time with a TB48 battery. There is a second battery bay that's optional that you can add to the machine if you want it to fly a little bit longer. So it's not a bad machine. My next step for this one is to put on, and why I wanted to build this, where I think this could be better than the Inspire Pro in some uses, would be adding the guidance system to
Right.
it. So then it has the 360-degree obstacle sensing, obstacle avoidance, and I can see this being a pretty cool machine for different inspections
yeah.
or some precise some
So you're
high
gonna-
resolution photography. So we'll test it. I don't
You're
know.
gonna
It
have
may-
that soon.
Yep.
You have it,
I'm-
right?
we
It's just a matter.
yeah, I have the
yeah.
guidance, but there's a method to my madness.
Yeah.
I'll first build the frame, fly that for a few flights, make sure it's all solid and it's set
Right.
up. Then I add the camera, fly that for a few flights. Then I add another piece. So it's
Yeah.
a little piece by piece. Every time I build these things, it's just the way I do it.
Yeah, no.
So I'm not introducing all these things
New
that can
things
fail
that
or
can
that I would
fail,
need to troubleshoot later.
What do you think of the camera overall? Like, tell me about the camera. Is it it shoots 4K as well? I mean, what do you like or dislike? Like, what do you feel its strength or weaknesses?
What do I think about the X5? It depends what you compare it to. So if you're comparing it to like the X3 camera on the Inspire 1 or on the Phantom, it's great. it's better. It just, you get a bigger sensor, you get more of a dynamic range. You know, you can change the lenses on it. So I would definitely take this one over that if you had the money. There is the extra amount of money. It's fully justifiable.
Okay.
For, you know, getting this camera, because, you know, if you think about it, if you wanted to fly Micro Four Thirds before the X5 was introduced, you would have to fly like a GH4, for which you would need like the S900, S1000. So now you're talking about something that's size of this table versus,
and you're looking at what, $8,000-$9,000 by the time they're all said and done.
Yeah. You know, so this is definitely a nice machine to do that with. The difference between the X5 and X5R would be the ability to write 4K.
Okay.
You know, so they both can shoot 4K, but I've done over the last few days quite a few test flights where I literally tried, you know, multiple different settings or the settings that I'm the most likely to be using, different color profiles, different apertures, 2 different lenses. And what I discovered is that it's a really great 1080 camera, 1080 HD. Because at 1080-30 or 1080-24, it's sharp. It has no problem writing it. It's a nice deep image. For some reason at 1080-60, it seems over sharpened to me. It's really to the point where it like artifacts in some areas.
Well, that's why I was asking you if you'd ever seen that sports mode on a TV set. Where,
similar.
You know, it's kind of similar. Where it almost doesn't
sharp.
look real, like what you're shooting.
Yeah. And once I got to 4K on this one, even in 24 and 30 frames per second, which are the 2 options that you get in 4K with this one, it seemed the image was a little bit on the softer side. Okay. And the first few flights, I thought, okay, well, this was me not focusing it right. But then same focus, same settings, the only difference being 1080 at 30 frames per second and 4K at 30 frames per second. You can see the 4K has much softer image. I'm not going to say blurry or not out of focus, but it's definitely less sharp than a 1080. And I do believe that's being introduced while, you know, to keep up with writing the 4K on the memory card.
Well, because it's compressing the 4K.
Because it's compressing the 4K. Yeah, okay. So instead of artifacting, maybe it chooses to soften it up so you don't have the, you know, the alias and the busyness in the image. Yeah.
So you're saying that you think the 4K quality is better on the X3?
No. This is still a bigger sensor. Yeah. But definitely, it's less noticeable than the difference between 1080 out of this one and that one. So for the most, if I am to use this camera, I'm gonna shoot in 1080. Okay. Just because I like the footage much better. And right now, it's not much. I'm not gonna say it's not many clients requiring 4K, because there are clients obviously requiring 4K. But, you know, for the clients that wouldn't specify that they really want a 4K, I'm going to default to 1080 on this one. Well, you know, if you think about it, there's got to be a reason, you know, for them to have the X5R out. You know,
so they can charge you more money.
Well, they can charge you more money, but if it can get the 4K as sharp, which I'm sure it can, right? And, you know, because it can write it in RAW, as this one can in 1080, then it arguably may be worth it.
So it's not the memory card you're using not being fast enough to keep up.
It's a Class 10 card, so there's no reason to be.
That's interesting. Yeah. So compare this to, like, because you said the price on this was about $2,300
with the lens. Yeah.
With the lens. So compare this to the GH4.
To the GH4, well, the GH4 when it was new, it was roughly about $2,000.
Right, plus the lens.
And plus the lens, if you grab the 12mm prime, that would set you back another $700. So, you know, price-wise, it's close to each other.
But what about quality?
The quality-wise,
as far as image quality, the physical quality is
1080, very similar, comparable, especially with the 12mm lens, because it's the same lens I've been using with the GH4, so I can, you know, compare. 4K, you get much better quality out of the GH4.
You think?
I know.
But the R's could be
the R is a different ballgame. Yeah, because if you think about it, as far as the capability or the write speed capability, they would stack up X5, GH4, X5R.
I got you. Know, so it's a better camera.
It's the same sensor, but it really matters how quickly the camera can write it. And with the R, you get the SSD drive. It's a internal, you know, solid state little drive. that the camera just beams the stuff too, which is faster than any of the cards that you can get out there.
Because I heard and saw some things online where people are talking about that the R is comparable to, you know, even footage that you can blend in, like you might have shot with a red or something like that. If you had
I'm
to
sure
try
you
to
can. Yeah,
if
I don't see
you
why
try
not.
to match up, you know, because you couldn't take X3 footage and blend it in and have people think it's
a few seconds
red.
of that.
But they're saying that the R you would be able to do that in a high end production setting.
It's a pretty quality camera. I hope I save up enough money to get my hands on one.
Yeah. So it's
no, you're getting me one for Christmas, right?
Well, Christmas is coming up.
Oh,
and I've been
great.
saving. Please don't spoil it for me.
Okay. Good.
So I mean, this is great. So how many flights do you have on this particular setup right now?
I believe 8 flights with the camera.
Yeah,
if that.
It's just you got a lot of money sitting here on the table, so I still think you would grab your Phantom for like little questionable.
Yeah, like flying over water and getting close to things. No, this is the baby right now. We're just testing, and we have to take it easy there.
My guess too is that once you get the guidance system, you're probably not going to fly it as hard because there's a trust level that's going to have to be built with the guidance system to know that it's actually doing what it's supposed to.
I don't fly any of them hard, really.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Yeah, but you get comfortable once you learn their capabilities.
You do. But you have to be flying an appropriate machine to be comfortable with. So the more expensive they are, the more you try to stay away. But I'm really excited to try the guidance and see what the real capability of this is.
Yeah. Well, we got to try to figure out some real applications for this unit. And right now, with this camera on there, like you said, it's like a hopped up Phantom.
Yep.
But if you were going to shoot for production use, you would probably go for the Inspire Pro because you have the 360 and the 2-operator capability.
If you're doing a 2-operator,
So
I'm not gonna say hopped up Phantom, and as I said, I shouldn't.
It was your. I mean, it's a big difference.
This is not a and I don't hate on Phantoms. I have a couple of them, and they are great tools for what they are. But this is, it's like a difference between your little point and shoot or your iPhone camera and a 4/3 SLR camera.
Right. Right. So
only they can fly.
We need to see. We need to get the guidance system on. We'll see what that's like.
Absolutely,
that'd be cool.
Absolutely. The next one in. So the last thing about this one for now is if you guys are considering the Matrice M100 and the X5 camera on it
and gals.
Angles, you are going to need, and that was quite an extensive build actually. I thought that I was just gonna get a little adapter, mounting plate and get it over with. And I wondered why is it that the kit is $200?
There's a lot to it.
The mounting kit. Yeah, you're practically rebuilding half of the the drone. Yeah. So what you get in the kit, and as I said, my idea was to just get this little bracket to hang underneath it, using the existing holes, and that's it. But what you actually get is you get a new top plate that's longer with a new accessory rails for the top, so you can actually slide the battery compartment to the back, so it balances out the camera.
Wow.
So that's one of the things. So you actually have to undo the whole top plate to access the 2 ports. There are 2 sets of cables, or one 8-pin, one 10-pin connector that you have to connect to your flight controller. Mm-hmm. And those are these connectors up here that connect to the camera.
Yep.
So then what you get is a new set of bottom rails that are these guys right here to accommodate these brackets. You get the rear brackets, you get the front bracket right here that mounts to the top plate. Then you get the gimbal plate itself, and a couple fasteners, to go with it. So it's a lot of parts. It's a big,
I thought it was just going to be a simple little thing.
Yeah, and if you look at all these screws, it takes a while to undo and
you
do again.
You must not have been happy when that box came in.
It was a couple hours. I was really happy when that box came in.
Well, sure, because you were going to get to use it with the camera. But then when you open it up and see all the parts, you're like, wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's more part than the Matrice came in.
Yeah, right. Oh, this is really cool. Well, thanks for bringing it in and sharing this.
No problem at all. Next time we have it here, it's gonna have the guidance on it.
Yep.
And you guys, if you are watching us, on YouTube, I'm gonna put some test clips in there. Actually.
Oh, nice.
If you go to YouTube and search for Drone Vibes right now, there are already quite a few podcast episodes and tutorial videos. And the neat thing about it is, if you guys scroll down, they're actually sorted into little libraries. So you can go and you can look at the reviews. You can look for business interviews. You can look for tips and tutorials. So all the podcast segments that we record are going to be there in their video format. So if you need to go back and find something, this is like a podcast archive.
Yeah, and I appreciate you doing all that work for that. That's awesome. I just saw it now. Wow, how you restructured that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody who's listening to this episode right now can go to YouTube, search Drone Vibes, and under the categories that you set up, you look under the reviews section, and you will see the video clip of this segment with us, so you can actually see what we're talking about here, which is
absolutely
nice.
And we'll put the links in the show notes.
Yep.
And also have we're planning to have a video section on the. Hopefully Nathan allows us to have one. No, dronevibes.com. We already have one on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. We got to talk to Nathan and see if we can get a video section.
Get a permission to take up some real estate on the website there.
Now, for all of you who are like really interested in this Matrice and you're looking to get something from DJI, whether it be a Phantom or an Inspire or this Matrice or the X5 camera, please visit Empire Hobby. It's actually EmpireRC.com, but it's Empire Hobby. And tell those guys over there that you saw this video and you heard from the guy Eric and Peter over at Drone Vibes. Jack and his crew, they're awesome. We've said it before; they're great to work with. Yeah, a lot of support. They know, these guys know what they're talking about, and they will take care of you for all your DJI needs. So please make sure you visit them if you are interested in picking up one of these
drones
things, or if you're into drones, or if you're into any drones. I know, and we're supposed to get an FPV machine from them too to test out. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's gonna be nice.
This is a cool FPV machine to test.
Yeah, right. A little. I don't know about that, but
this is my entry to the giant scale drone racing.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm coming for you.
We'll definitely be bringing more information on this in the next couple of weeks, I guess, when you get the guidance system on.
Yep, up and running.
And we'll go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this segment. And for more information on this, again, please check out dronevibes.com. Check out YouTube. Go over to Empire RC and make a purchase.
And buy some stuff.
Buy some stuff.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining us on this episode.
Whether you're listening to a podcast or watching our videos, please don't forget to subscribe.
And please go over to iTunes or your favorite podcast network and give us a review. We appreciate a 5-star review if you love what we do.
You can always find us on Facebook,
on Instagram,
Twitter,
and YouTube.
Thank you. Until the next time.
All right, everybody, have a great week.